Hello, I am the Telstra Queensland Businesswoman of the Year. My name is Dr. Catherine Ball and I'm here with Dr. Jeff Garrett, the Queensland Chief Scientist at the beautiful Queensland Museum, and we have an after dark event this evening on the science behind beer, wine and chocolate. I'm glad I'm here for that. But it's been an incredibly successful National Science Week. And so Jeff, this has been a really good success, not just for Queensland but also nationally. And I guess you've got a bit of an announcement to make on the back of that.
Absolutely, lovely to be here, Catherine. It has indeed been a great week. We kicked off last Friday here in Brisbane with an attempt which we won on the Guinness Book of Records for the biggest ever practical science lesson. We got nearly 3,000 kids, 2,895 kids all in the same room at the same time to learn and do experiments about magnetism. So that was a great event. And there's been wonderful events all week and even over the weekend. So on tomorrow we've got in King George Square, we've got 12 brilliant lady scientists in something called soapbox science, talking about the work that they're doing. Everything from sea level rise to the meaning of time to handling stress when you're still in your mother's womb, which all those will be really interesting. But we're here to announce, launch some very special awards, which is the Innovation Nation Awards. Great brand that, if great aspiration, way to go, but it's a lovely vision, and that's what the awards are all about tonight.
So we hear a lot about innovation. It's becoming a bit of a buzzword, a bit of a hashtag, but what does innovation mean to you?
So I think this is a real issue of so many people have so many different views of what innovation means. Sometimes I play the game, you ask 20 people, give me a pithy definition of innovation, and you'll get 21 different responses. There's a great Nobel laureate in innovation called Herb Simon, who once said very wisely, innovation's about borrowing. So quite a few years back I was working with a guy called Professor John Besant, who's an innovation guru at Imperial College in London, and talking about the meaning, and he basically uses, and I've used it ever since really, that innovation is ideas successfully applied. My good pal Mark Dodgson, who's Professor of Innovation at the University of Queensland Business School, on page 1 of his book with David Gann from Imperial called Innovation, a very short introduction, you'll find it there. Innovation is ideas successfully applied. So it's all about the application. And when I've been talking over the years to researchers, saying if we are just doing great research and publishing wonderful papers in peer-reviewed journals with terrific citations, and the fruits of our labour don't get into the broader marketplace, creating jobs, wealth, improvement and quality of life, then we haven't really gone the whole way. So it's around the application of those ideas, and it's unfortunately one of the things that we've got a long way to go. We're really challenged here in Australia. We've got brilliant ideas, but the conversion, the translation, the diffusion of those ideas into practical outcomes is not easy, and we find it difficult. And you've done a great job, Catherine, in your work there. So this whole process that also go to howdoweinnovate.com, which will give us lots more information over the weeks ahead, and also information about this gala event, the awards event, on November the 3rd.
So we talk about wanting to convert more and trying to inspire more. So why are these awards themselves so important as part of that process?
I've often held the view that awards are really pivotal because it's about celebration, it's about recognition, and it's about putting those people in role modelling positions and saying, well done. And it's I think one of the underused weapons in the armoury of the leader of celebrating and giving awards. They're really important. A small story for me, a while back, we were coming back after a late night do in Newcastle on a Saturday evening at the traffic light right next to Newcastle State School, and there was one of these boards that they have outside most schools. You know the story, welcome Mrs. Bloggs back on from leave and maternity leave, etc., etc. And there was in the board, late at night, there it was, it said, well done to our wonderful teacher aides. You are outstanding. We cannot do without you. And you actually don't need to go into that school to recognise what sort of culture, what sort of environment, what sort of leadership is in place. As it happened that weekend, the daughter of some long-term friends of ours was staying with us, and she'd been a teacher aide for the last 6 weeks. and no recognition, nobody taking up our ideas, really dispirited, wanting to quit. So awards and acknowledgement and celebration is pivotal. You know, Mark Twain once said, I can live for a month on a good compliment. So after November the 3rd, we're going to have a whole bunch of people that don't need to eat for a month. And that's why awards are so important.
So let's take you back a couple of years to 14-year-old Jeff. What do you want to be when you grow up, Jeff?
So 14-year-old Jeff, we're going back a few light years there. So that was 1962, and we had our first black and white TV, about this big, lots of sort of flashing and trying to get it moving. And then in September, on came John Kennedy, and he talked about putting a man on the moon and getting him back by the end of that decade. And as he said, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. And I remember all those years back, a cold shiver ran down my spine. So that whole area of space, I'm actually a closet Trekkie, you know, Star Trek, Mr. Spock, Captain James T. Kirk. T stands for?
Tiberius.
Tiberius, well done. In fact, there's a great film on at the moment, Beyond, which is terrific. So I think, you know, one option would be that whole space and astrophysics area. If I'm allowed to, over the last few years I've been working with a brilliant international program called the International Ocean Discovery Program, more than 20 nations. We've got 18 institutions in New Zealand and Australia working really closely together. And you know, talking of space, we know more about the dark side of the moon, I'm told, than we do about the ocean floor off the northwest shelf. So marine geoscience would be another area that I would probably give a look at. But I've been very happy being a metallurgist. It gave me a great base. But what about you?
Well, I'm more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan, though I did like Voyager because, of course, Catherine Janeway was a great character for me when I was 14 years old. But Princess Leia is my sort of idol. So I think interstellar travel or astrophysics or astrobiology, I think, is actually more of an interest for me.
Life on Mars.
Life on Mars. Is there any? I'd say yes, there is, and it's in the deep subsurface. I mean, David Attenborough helped me fall in love with planet Earth, and I think unless we can actually respect and love what we have here, then we're not going to do a very good job of colonising anywhere else anytime soon.
Absolutely right.
But thanks so much. It's been so great to hang out with you here today, Jeff. I hope you're staying around for some science about beer and wine and chocolate.
Beer and wine, all those flavonoids are good for us.
They are indeed. And of course, innovation is also good for us, especially as a country and a nation and an economy going forwards. And so you can find out more about the whole process we've been talking about today by going to www.howdoweinnovate.com. And don't forget to write in your diaries for the 3rd of November at Brisbane City Hall, where I hope I will see you there.
We'll all be there.
And I hope I will see you there as well. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you very much
Appreciate
indeed.
it.
Great job. Thank you.